Welcome back, and let's begin where we left off. So far, this is what we have. Let's start styling this section, and then we will jump on this section. So for styling, we will have to add the style sheet file. So in order to add the style sheet file, we will go over here, copy paste here, and asset CSS, and then we will say custom.css. We'll save here, and then we will have to go to the resources. Sorry, not resources. Public. Make sure you go to the right folder, because in resources we also have assets, but we are not talking about that. We are talking about the resources that we have in the public. So these are the resources. Remember, we created img. So in here, app.css, we will create a new file, which would be save as custom.css. Save it. Cool. And we can also use the same file here, but it's better to use the CSS in a separate file. So in here, first let me add ID, so I can access the specific section using that ID. So for the chat list body panel, I'm gonna add one ID, and it would be chat body. Save it. And now we will body panel of the message section, which is right here, and I will say MSG for short, message body. Same thing. So for the item, chat item 1, chat item 2, chat item 3, we will implement that thing later, because we are not pulling the data from database. Otherwise we can use the table ID, which would be a unique incremental ID. We can use that for the ID of each item. So at the moment we do not need to worry about that at all. So all I have to do is to go to our CSS file, which is right here. Let me get it. Sorry, not the app.css, the custom.css. And let me try to see if it is working. Chat body. I am accessing the ID, and I will say background color, make it red. Just for the sake of testing. Hope I have saved this file. Hope I have saved this file as well. Let me open, refresh. Yep, it is working. Perfect. So if I come back over here, no need to use this creepy color at the moment. I will say heading would be 0. So like as you can see, if I have a huge list, like at the moment, for instance, it is keep going because I have like hundreds of chats. This is not how it works, because if you have used Facebook, it have a certain length, and then there is a scroll bar if the items are in the huge list. So this is exactly what we have to do, because if you have 1 or 2 items, that's okay, but if you have a list, we do not want the user to scroll the page. We want the user to scroll this section, not the page. So for that, we will have to implement 3 things, like height, obviously the basic thing, and we will say it would be 80 view height. So it would be 80 and overflow y would be scroll, so that we will able to scroll. So if I save, go over there, refresh, and you can see the scroll height, sorry, the section height is 80 view height. So even if I zoom in or zoom out, it is the same height. And if I zoom in, you see the height is not changing, the section is scrollable. Great, right? This is exactly what I was talking about. So let me put it in again 100%. Come back over here. Now we have to do the same thing for the message, but we're not going to do that right now because we have to concentrate on the chat section at the moment. So first we will develop that and design it, style it perfectly, then we will move to the message. So now let me see what was the ID or class we were using. It's a chat item, it's a class, because as you can see it would have more than one item, and you definitely know that ID is only work for one item on the same page. So if I use ID instead of class for chat item, it will only apply for one item and it will ignore the rest. So in order to use the class, it's a basic CSS knowledge I'm just giving in order to give you extra knowledge if someone doesn't have this knowledge. So if you have a multiple items, you have to use class. If you have one item, you can use the ID. So in our case, for items, we have multiple items because message would be like tons of messages, sorry. So now I will use class chat item, and chat item, let's say maximum height, width would be 100% because we do not want it to be overflowed outside the box. And then we wanted to display it as a block so it will appear properly and set. We also need a border, but only for bottom. 1 pixel, it would be solid, and I like to use a light gray color because I like it, a combination. Background color would be obviously white because our theme would be like blue, white, gray. I like that. Color would be black, and obviously cursor would be pointer because we would want the user to click on it so the messages will be appear on the right side. And then padding, because I will show you why. And then position relative, save it. Before refreshing, as you can see, everything is kind of glued with the border. So if I refresh now, you see there is a little padding from everywhere, and that's exactly what I needed. A border, a nice border, and then the image and so on. Now it's time to actually work on image. Yeah, before image, I would like to work on the hover effect. So if we hover, it changed the color. So I use the same class here, and then hover attribute of CSS, and I will say background color would get changed. I wanted to use the same color as I use for the border. If I save, go back, refresh. Okay, nice. Now it's time for the chat item, and we can use image, or we can just simply add one class for the image. And let's see if I added it or not. Image, no. So let me add it. chat item image. Just wanted to add this class for all these items. Save it, come back over here, and for this let me set the width of 60 pixel, just randomly guessing, hopefully it will work. I need a square box in a proper way, so 60 pixel height would also be great. Position again relative, and display would be inline because we have to place everything in the line, name and the image and so on. Save it. Cool, it's looking much better. Let me do one thing as well, z index 0, just to make things better. Cool. Now it's time for the name part. Again, I would like to use the class. Thank God I have already added, otherwise I will have to copy paste every single thing again. For this, I will say first thing display inline, because I also want to place it inline. Then I wanted to say font size, and let's say and margin left, because at the moment it is stuck, sorry, not stuck, glued. So save it, go back, refresh. Cool. Now this is the proper thing. See how nice and cool it is looking. There would be more things here as well, because if the user will send the message, there should be a different color here, a glowing color, something like, and the notification of how many messages you got in real time. So it would be a badge here as well. We will do it later, not right now. So this part is done. Let's start building this part. I want you to see the badge as well at the moment, so I have to change my mind, so sorry about that. Again, I will be distracted if I will not gonna create it now. So this would be a class name. Again, it's a random name. I will say 6 at the moment. 6 for this. So none for that, and 2 for this. Save again. Come back over here. Use this class. Keep the structure better. And let's first refresh here. Okay, so again, the weird number is coming over here, which is not supposed to be like that. Come back. Position absolute, because we want to place it in a proper position regardless the size of and width and height of the name, because name would be smaller, larger, things like that. So you have to place it in a proper position. Top would be, I don't know, let's say 6, and right would be 0 pixel. Border radius, again, not right. Border radius, I would say 50%, so it will be a nice round thing. Background color would be blue, just throwing whatever I like. Color would be again, and minimum width and height 22 pixel. Doesn't really matter, it totally depends on you. 22 pixel, because I also want to make it round. Text align, center, and height would be auto. Font family Arial, line height. I'm just throwing things to see how accurate I am for CSS. Oh well, not that accurate as I thought I would be, but pretty much wanted to place, let's say, 6 and put it 12. Yeah, now it is looking a bit nice. So this is how it would be. This section is pretty much, I guess, completed. Now we have to jump to the other chat system, but we will do it in the next video because this one is getting again lengthier. So take care for now. Bye bye. Take care.